Hi everyone, it's Lori with Farmhouse Stencil Shop. I just wanted to jump on here for a little while today and finish up a couple of blocks that I was painting that I have in a set of 3 new little coffee stencils. I made a reel yesterday and I made one of them, and so I was just going to paint the other 2 blocks and show you what I did, because that reel, it goes so fast you can't really see what I was doing. So I'm just going to do this. Today I am just taking, I'm going to do these differently. The other one that I painted was red. So this one I'm going to do in this is like a tan color. It's kind of like a beigey tan color. I like to get these little paint samples that are mist-tinted, and I grab those up at the hardware store when I find them. So I'm just painting my background, and it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, this block has like a little hole in it, and it was a piece of wood that my husband had drew. He likes to write numbers on wood in the workshop, and it was just a little piece of scrap wood that he had. These blocks are 6 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to do that one in the tan color, and then the other one I'm just going to do in black. Just a simple little background. Doesn't have to be perfect, because these are more of the primitive look anyways. So it's not going to be perfect looking. So that's all you just paint on a little thin coat of black. I'm going to dry these really quick. This one I can actually see some of that the pencil marks coming back through because I didn't sand it first. So I'm going to do another coat of paint on that one. Ooh, almost had an accident there. So these little stencils are, they come in a set of 3, and they are 4 inch by 3.5 inches. They're perfect sizes to use up your little scrap wood. So I'm going to start with this one, and while that one's drying, I'm going to go on this side. I'm just going to place my stencil, and then I'm going to tape it down with a little bit of painter's tape. So easy if you have scrap wood. So easy and cute. Okay. So now I'm going to use a little bit of, the chalk paint. Dab it in my paint, and then I'm going to offload it on my paper towel, because you want to make sure that you don't have too much paint on your sponge. And then you can just stencil right on. You just want to make sure that all of that excess paint is dabbed off. Too much paint on your sponge can seep under, and it can cause a mess. So you don't want any bleeding that you have to fix later. So I usually stencil on 1 to 2 coats, but it normally will take me at least 2 coats of paint to get it the way I want it to look. Yep, I think that looks pretty good. So once I'm happy with it, Then I'll just remove the stencil, and I need to thin paint my bridges. This one says, I just want to sip coffee and hug my dog. So cute. Such a cute one. Man, I like to sip coffee and I love to hug my dog too. But I've been trying to wean myself off of coffee. So it's going okay. I've been giving up the coffee and trying to drink tea instead. So I'm just trying to get away from a lot of the caffeine. I have a problem with having migraine headaches, and I don't know. Hopefully giving up some of the caffeine will help with that. I'm hoping anyways. So I just take a fine tip brush, and these bridges are pretty tiny, so you need a really small brush for this stencil. And you just paint your bridges. And the bridges are the little gaps left in the from the plastic on the stencil. They are in the centers of words like A and O. So I just like to fill those in. I think it gives it a finished look. But they're always optional. But I would recommend it. If you can take the time to fill your bridges in, I would recommend it. I think I got them all. So that's what I got. And I'm going to try to dry this one because it's not drying very fast. This one I'm going to paint in black paint. Stencil in black paint. So I'm just using acrylic black paint. And I dab in my paint. I have just a little bit of paint on a tray, and then I'm going to dab off on my paper towel. And then I'm just going to stencil. I think that looks good. So I'm going to peel that off. Put that to the side. This one says, a yawn is a silent scream for coffee. I think that's cute. These are really good size if you make little signs for tiered trays, or if you just need a little sign to go on your coffee bar or something. This is a really good size. And I've found that in my booths, when I would sell little signs like this, that they just fly off or fly out of my booth. People buy them like crazy because you can price them really inexpensive, and I don't know, people just like the little signs. They can be given as gifts, little coworker gifts even, gifts for teachers. I find that they sell really well though. So I'm just filling in my bridges on this one. Black paint is usually the easiest to fill in your bridges. So there we have that. So once that's done, I'm going to go back over to this one. I I need that paint. And I'm going to take my little gator sander and I'm just going to sand the edges a little bit. Just enough to clean it up because the edges, the paint just doesn't look all that great on the edges. But once you hit it with the sander, it makes it look okay. Okay, so now I am going to take my stain. Let me put my gloves on here. And I'm going to stain over the whole thing, front and back. And the only reason I'm doing the backs right now is because I'm getting ready to put a bow on them, and so I want to go ahead and do the backs. But it will dry really quickly. I'm gonna get my little piece of t-shirt here and open my stain. I'm using just the Bare Premium Early American shade of stain. I like this stain pretty well. It's the wood stain. It's oil-based, but it seems to dry fast. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my t-shirt here and just rub it on. So then I'm going to go to my other one, and it will change the look of this one slightly. It's going to darken it up quite a bit. So you just want to wipe it off pretty good. But it will give it kind of a primitive-like look. Kind of a grungy look. So let me dry these really quickly. Okay, so it's not going to be 100% dry, but it will dry it enough where you can put a bow on it, and it shouldn't give you a problem. So I have got these cute little wood cutouts that I got from Foreign Designs. So I'm going to paint those and also place those on my bow. So I'm going to use, which one do I want to use? I think I'll use this one. This is kind of like a, it has a grain stripe look to it. I'm going to use that one on this one here. And I'm going to try to cover up that little flaw in my board. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I think it probably will. So I'm just going to tie a bow now. I might have to move it over just slightly. Just wrap it around and tie your bow. And that's basically it. Then you're just going to kind of fix your bow a little bit. Let me cut it off. And I need to move it over just slightly. Here we go. And you want to fluff it up just a little bit, because you want your bow to look nice and pretty. And then this one, I'm going to use this Barn Red homespun color, and I'm going to put it on the opposite side. I'm just going to tie the bow the same way, just a basic little bow. Let me cut some of those strings off. It's a little too stringy for me. I like the raggedy look, but not quite that raggedy. That was from me ripping the fabric. So yeah, that looks cute. So lastly, I'm going to paint my little accent pieces. I'm going to trim that side off because it is just wanting to cover part of my stencil. So we got that. It's cute. I feel like I need to fix this one a little bit. I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit quieter than usual. My husband and my baby niece both are napping right now. So I'm trying to keep it down so my dogs don't hear me, and that way they won't think I'm having a conversation with someone. Because then they would have to bark. So, okay. So now I have these two little cutouts, and I'm going to put a star on one. I'm going to put the star on this one and the heart on this one. So I'm going to paint them really quickly with a little bit of my white chalk paint. You wouldn't have to paint it. I just feel like that it needs it so it will stand out a little bit better. Because then I'm going to take some of the Kilts wax and kind of grungy it up just a tad anyways. So I have a little painted heart and star. Such an easy project, guys. I don't think I have made anything that I've shared on any of my videos that is a hard project. So, and that is like almost dry enough right now where I can just go ahead and hit it with a little bit of the Kilt sealing wax. Kills dark wax. So it just kind of grubbies it up just a little bit. Just kind of darkens up the bright white color. Well, it's not bright white, it's more of an ivory shade. But, okay. And that's basically it. I'm just going to glue those down. I'm going to put the star or the heart on the one that says hug my dog because I just think it's fitting. So if you can see what I'm doing, I'm just putting a little dab of glue. Oops. And I'm just going to glue the heart right on the front. And then I'm going to take a little bit of glue. And a little too much glue, actually. I don't need that much. And I'm going to glue it on this one. So cute and simple. And that's it. That is it. See how fast you can make these? I mean, you can make a whole bunch at one time even. You could just go crazy with your scrap wood and make a whole bunch. So, there we have it. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you comment and tell me what you think about these. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you watching. Take care.